Hey guys, I've just got a quick little project for you this time. I've been spending a lot of time this fall out camping, and as the days keep getting shorter and shorter, that means you're spending more hours in the tent. Now I have a big, nice wall tent with a wood stove in it, so it stays nice and warm, and it's pleasant to be in there, but you need some kind of light. And I've been getting really tired buying fuel for gas lanterns and buying batteries for little battery lanterns. I thought there's got to be a better way to put light in this tent. So I thought, what other power source do I have? Well, I've got quite a few of these little babies laying around, and I thought I just have to be able to tap into this power source, and I can power light for a lot longer for a lot less money. So after doing some thinking, I did the research and found that Dewalt was making these little adapters that you could plug into the USB port, and this thing goes on your battery, and then you can charge a phone with it. So I thought, why don't we try getting some of those LED strips that have USB ports on them. So I tried that, and nothing happens, which I did enough research ahead of time to prove that I kind of knew this going into it. Coming through the USB port, it doesn't give it quite enough voltage to power a light strip. So I had to do a little bit of looking and found that Dewalt makes one of these with a 12-volt auxiliary port for their heated line of clothes, their jackets and stuff. So in order to get this, I actually had to go to their spare parts website and order the spare part for the jacket, which is this. I'm going to leave a link to their website to this part down in the description, because it's not exactly easy to find unless you know what you're looking for. So now that I've got my power source and the adapter figured out, I just had to figure out what I wanted to do for the light. And I really like the concept of that rope of LED lights because it's light and it's really bright for what it is. So I found a 16-foot strip of the stuff. But this one is even more flimsy, and I decided I didn't really like the idea of it breaking on me when I needed it. You know, if you're setting up a tent and putting it back down multiple times over the course of the year, and you're constantly running this through the rafters and then wrapping it back up, it's just going to get broken and you're going to be without your light source. So I decided I needed to make it a little bit stronger and ended up running it through some clear plastic tubing. So with the LED lights inside the plastic tubing and then a custom switch that I just soldered together, bought the switch and then I had to add a second male end to it so that it fit all the different fittings on here, because this is a male, this is a female, and the jack on the battery is a female. Can plug those two together, flip the switch, and I have instant lighting wherever I need it. A 3 amp hour battery was able to power a 16-foot rope light for like a night and half the next night. So I had enough batteries to get me through a week at a time. Then I could come home, recharge all the batteries, and go back out. Now, if you keep your batteries charged, this is also going to help you out in a lot of different cases. Power goes out at your house. National emergency with all these hurricanes going on. People, I'm sure, are without power all over the place, and this is a good way, I think, to have backup lighting if you need it. So that's really most of the video, is just explaining what I did and why, but it's worked out so well, and I like having it, that I'm going to make another one. So I'm going to show you a few tips that I found in making the first one that should make building the second one go a little bit faster and a little bit smoother, because it's not easy to get 16 feet of LED lights through a plastic tube without breaking it. Do yourself a huge favor by stretching the tubing out as straight as you can over its whole length. I went with 3/8 inch inside diameter tubing because I wanted to keep the overall package as small as possible. If you go with larger tubing, you'll have an easier time pulling the LED strip through it. I used some small nylon string and fed the first few inches into one end of the tube. Then, I used compressed air to blow it through the tube, allowing plenty of extra to come out the far end. Next, I pulled the LED strip off of its spool so I could get at the very end of it. Then, I stuck the string to the self-adhesive backing and wrapped them both with electrical tape to make sure the string couldn't come loose. I rolled the LED strip back onto the spool plug end first to keep things tidy. Then, I put a screwdriver through the center of the spool and clamped it to my bench. This screwdriver will act like an axle, allowing the spool to turn freely without moving around. With all this set up, it's easy to just pull the light strip through to the other end. If it ever feels like it's hung up, go investigate the problem. Don't ever try to force it or you will tear the strip and might end up with a section of LEDs stuck in your tubing. Don't ask me how I know that. I taped off the plug end first, then folded over the little tail sticking out the far end and taped it up too. Now I wanted to be able to use this inline switch so that I could just flip a switch and have it turn off and on instead of having to plug it in and unplug it all the time. And the issue is the light comes with a female plug in it and the adapter is a female jack. So you have to be able to get from female to female, and the clicker is a male to female. So in order to do that, I either had to rewire the light or rewire the switch, and I just thought it would be easier to rewire the switch. All right, it's moment of truth time. We've got the LEDs all through the tube and nice and protected by this. I'm not worried about water damage. I'm not worried about, impact damage or even pulling damage so much. It's a lot more durable the way it is. Now we just have to see if my not so skillful soldering did the trick to get the wiring back together. Flip the switch, lights are on. Perfect. This is going to work great. And now that I have 2 strings of it, I may have to get another one of these so I can have 2 different lights going on at whatever time. This is actual soft rubber clear tubing, and I think it's going to let more of the light through, but it's not going to dissipate as much as this one, which is harder plastic and it's sort of opaque. I think this will actually diffuse the light, make it maybe spread out more, but it won't be as bright overall. So this is what I have been using this fall. This is the new one. I'm going to use them both and I'm going to see which one I like better. But if you want to make one of these yourselves, I'm going to leave links to all the parts that I used down in the description. Just about everything came off of Amazon except for the adapter itself. That had to come directly from Dewalt's part replacement service. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's a little different than my usual stuff. Obviously there's no woodworking here, but I found this to be a really useful project, so I hope you guys did too. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time.